The shadow between the trees. My name is Ethan, and this story happened when my best friend Jake and I decided to spend a weekend hiking in the mountains. We had been friends since childhood and shared a passion for exploring nature. After months of planning, we finally chose a remote mountain trail that few people visited. We wanted adventure, beautiful views, and a break from the noise of everyday life. The morning was cool and clear when we arrived. The mountains stretched endlessly before us, their peaks hidden by thin clouds. Excited, we packed our backpacks and started climbing the trail. The first few hours, everything was perfect. Birds sang in the trees, and the sound of a distant stream echoed through the forest. Jake joked constantly, and we stopped often to take pictures of the breathtaking scenery. As we climbed higher, however, the forest became strangely quiet. At first, neither of us mentioned it. But after several minutes without hearing a single bird or insect, I finally looked at Jake. "Do you notice something strange?" I asked. He nodded slowly. "Yeah, it's too quiet." The silence felt unnatural. Even the wind seemed to have disappeared. We continued walking, but a growing feeling of unease settled over us. The trees became thicker, their branches twisting together like dark fingers blocking the sunlight. He pointed between the trees. At first, I couldn't see anything. Then I noticed a dark shape standing motionless in the distance. It was too tall to be a person and too thin to be a bear. We stared at it for several seconds before it slowly stepped behind a tree and vanished. My heart started racing. "Did you see that?" Jake asked nervously. "Yeah, but what was it?" Neither of us knew. We decided to keep moving, hoping it had been our imagination. But every few minutes, one of us would catch a glimpse of movement in the forest. A dark figure seemed to be following us, always staying just out of sight. As the sun began to set, the shadows grew longer. That's when we heard it. A low, unnatural sound echoed through the trees. It wasn't an animal cry. It sounded almost human, but distorted somehow. Fear took over. "We need to leave now," Jake said. We turned around and hurried down the trail. Behind us, branches snapped. Something was moving through the forest, keeping pace with us. We never saw it clearly, but we could feel its presence. Then, as we reached a small clearing, we saw it one last time. Standing at the edge of the trees was the creature. It was over 7 feet tall, with long arms and pale eyes that reflected the fading sunlight. Its body was thin and unnatural, almost blending into the darkness around it. It didn't move. It simply watched us. For a moment, everything stood still. Then the creature stepped backward into the forest and disappeared. Jake and I ran without looking back. We didn't stop until we reached our car. To this day, neither of us knows what we saw in those mountains. We searched online, asked locals, and looked for explanations, but nothing matched what we witnessed. Maybe it was an unknown animal. Maybe it was something else. All I know is that sometimes when I think about that day, I remember those pale eyes staring from between the trees, and I still wonder if it was watching us leave or waiting for us to come back.